We have a problem.
Penetrating the United States.
I thought it was safe.
Your future has arrived.
By the way, people, we're doing a podcast. We haven't done one in a while.
That is just cuckoo. So the main problem is that Trump opened his mouth, which is the problem most days of the year. But
Hey, Angie, will you get the duct tape, please? You got the duct tape? Angie, I need the duct tape to wrap my head so it doesn't explode, okay?
can you see my screen?
Oh, yeah. Wow, where is that?
That is in Westport, Connecticut.
Wow. That looks like a yummy meal that you had there.
A yummy little brunch with a cappuccino and mashed up and everything. How about that?
Being good citizens, being good Americans right there.
And I don't know if you've seen that before, but it was the first time that I saw that, a hands-free virtual menu.
Yep. Where you have to use your camera to...
Yeah, I guess you've seen that because, you go out all over the place and you don't give a hoots, right?
Exactly. Maskless and all the time.
Man, oh man.
So what, it's funny you mentioned that because I think it was 2 weeks ago, Angie and I went to a local restaurant and we're in there. And of course the sign on the door says you must wear your mask on the way in. So we do our duty and we put our mask on. We get in there, the place is packed. People sitting at the bar just elbow to elbow. The bartender not wearing gloves, not wearing a mask, serving drinks, touching this person's glass, then coming over and serving my drink. And I'm going, what horse shit is this?
Right.
We have to wear a mask, but then
Right.
once you're in the restaurant, you take it off and we're all okay, right?
Well, I would definitely not go in a restaurant. That is my own choice. Whatever other.
I know, but wouldn't it be the same way in a restaurant in New York?
Yeah, I wouldn't go in a restaurant in New York either.
I know, but my point is they make you wear a mask in, but once you're in, it's like no restrictions, no boundaries, nothing.
No, I think in New York there's restrictions. I'm not exactly sure as far as a number of people, but you're supposed to social distance. But then again, the bar owner or the restaurant owner is not gonna enforce that because they don't want to get in trouble with any patrons, right? So it's kind of a how do you call that? A fake rule in the sense that it's really up to you as a guest. And if you decide to not give a hoots, then I don't think that there's anybody that will actually enforce it.
Right.
So
That's interesting. Yeah.
but that's the case with any rules. I mean, if I'm on the highway and it says speed limit is 55 miles an hour and I go 55 miles an hour, then probably about 2/3 of the cars go faster than I am.
Right.
So.
And how often do you break that rule?
The speed limit rule?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. But see, me breaking the speed limit is not contagious. That's the big difference.
Oh, there we go. Boy, we jumped right into this one, didn't we?
So our little brunch is actually the third time. I don't know about you and Angie, but this was the third time since the beginning of March that we were among people.
Hans, are you serious?
Yep.
And
Well, among people, meaning that you go to the grocery store or whatever, but this kind of socializing or whatever, we don't do.
well,
We adhere to the almighty Cuomo's instructions.
well, you'll be happy to know that I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Right now?
Yeah, with people I've never met, staying in their house, and they're friends. They're good friends of ours, and we just met them, and we're all maskless, and their grandchildren are here.
You're joking, right?
I'm dead serious. And so you've had three outings to restaurants. This is about my 8th or 10th trip since COVID started. So,
and all three have been outside, and we have not been in anybody else's house. We have not visited the kids or the grandkids. That is not going to happen until next year.
but that's for your protection, because you guys with Carla's condition and
That's for everybody's. We've spoken about this many times. We consider ourselves a vector. We're not exposing ourselves, but we're also not exposing others potentially. Right.
well, there you go.
So that's a whole. But I mean, this is a whole other thing anyway, because I was remarking to Carla about that. When you go and you walk this little town, Westport, Connecticut, which is a very, almost English feel kind of a town. Nobody without a mask in the street. Everybody, including kids, actually has masks.
Well, that's because it's a bunch of wealthy, liberal, elitist Ivy League brats that live there, right?
I have to admit, we were standing in line and I looked behind me. The guy behind me had a Biden 2020 mask. So you're probably right.
Well, at least they're being consistent. They're all doing what they tell us to do. It's not like we said the other day, do as I do, do as I say, not as I do. They're doing as I say. So good.
Right.
That's good. That's
so,
good.
You down south consider us probably all suckers and losers, but that's okay.
Suckers and losers? No. We'll get into that one. But no, we don't consider you suckers and losers. We just don't want you telling us how to live.
Ay. So, but I saw somebody on, you've heard of Sanjay Gupta, so I watched CNN obviously, and he was on and he said that he's from Georgia actually, he lives in Georgia. And when he goes out, he will wear a mask when he goes jogging or whatever. I don't know how you can jog with a mask.
Wait, he wears a mask going jogging?
Well,
give me a break.
The guy is a doctor and has to be politically correct, I suppose.
Well,
but anyway,
exactly. That's kind of moronic. But go ahead.
Even if he is near a store, I think he was mentioning that example, then people looked at him strange. So in Georgia, it's the other way around, because here you would be frowned upon for sure if you were to walk in the street without a mask. Not like the street here where we live in a neighborhood and you are 10 feet away from your neighbors, then that's not a problem. But if you're in like the kind of town that I just showed you, where people are walking on the sidewalk, if you're walking without a mask, then you're frowned upon for sure.
Okay, so so answer me this: how have we gotten from stay 6 feet apart in closed spaces in restaurants, bars, to where now if you're not wearing a mask on the street, you're frowned upon? How have we gotten to that point?
Well, the not wearing a mask is, as always, right from the get-go.
No. Not wearing a mask on a sidewalk outside.
That you're being, frowned upon?
You just said it. In that town, you're walking down the sidewalk without a mask and you're frowned upon outside.
That's been the case since the beginning of COVID, is what I'm saying.
No, it hasn't. It's
up here it has.
It has. Outside?
Yeah, wearing the mask. I mean, like when we go to the grocery store and you are in the parking lot of the grocery store, you don't see anybody without a mask in the parking lot. So you put your mask on while you're in the car before you get out. That's the same at Costco, or we actually were planning on going to IKEA because we wanted to, and it was a dumb thought to go to IKEA today because it's obviously the dumbest day of the year to go. But anyway, so we got to IKEA in New Haven, Connecticut, and there was an enormous line of people. There were at least 100 people out there. I took a picture. And they were letting them in 10 at a time because I guess they were adhering to the rule of not more than 50 people or whatever inside. Let me see if I can find the picture. Yeah, here it is.
Hey, Angie, will you get the duct tape, please? You got the duct tape? Angie, I need the duct tape to wrap my head so it doesn't explode, okay?
So this is the IKEA in New Haven. This is the IKEA in New Haven, Connecticut, where you had string lines, like you do in Disney World or in the airport. And at the door, there was somebody who let in a number of people equal to what was coming out of the exit. And that's how they were regulating the crowd inside the IKEA.
Okay, that's insanity. I just got to say, all right.
So
It's
welcome to the Northeast of the United States, where the infection rate is 1/5 of what it is there in your beloved state.
Hey, brother, let me tell you, my beloved state has I think we've had, well, I'll look it up. We have 7 million people here, and we've had, no, and it's funny how we've gone from infection deaths to infection rate. It doesn't matter about deaths anymore. It's just infection rate. That's all we talk about now, right?
No, I mean,
It doesn't matter about deaths.
I actually look at both, but okay.
But your camp is always talking about infection rate now and not deaths, okay?
Mike.
COVID in Tennessee. We've had, let's look at this here. Man, we've had 1,838 deaths. Tragic, everybody's life matters. Oh, wait, I can't say that, right? Only Black Lives Matter, right? Sorry.
No, so in other words, when so in other words, when Angie says that she loves her kids, that means that she doesn't love her mom, right? Is that what that means?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So, Hans, we've had a death rate in Tennessee of, 0.026%. What was the death rate? Let's see, the flu last year.
There is no scientific measure of the flu deaths. Whenever somebody comes up with that comparison, I also need the duct tape to put my mind back together.
Wait, why? Why is it different?
Because flu is not registered on death certificates as cause of death, so we don't know. We don't know how many people die of the flu. That is a guesstimate.
Let's talk about that.
No. It's a guesstimate. It's a guesstimate how many people die of the flu because it's not a registered cause of death.
Well, then that means it's way more than COVID.
Why is it way more than COVID? It's just
because anything that's closely related to COVID as a death is registered on your death certificate. That's mandated, right? But if it's close to flu, it may not be registered. So then, in theory,
what do you mean close to COVID? There's only one cause of death. COVID. No, that's it.
Because I saw the other day Tom Seaver died of some complications, but they also mentioned and COVID. And COVID.
So would he still have been alive had he not had COVID?
Tom Seaver, the great pitcher, died not because of natural causes or heart attack or whatever, but it was this and COVID. They had to put that in there.
Would he have died had he not had COVID?
Well, they didn't say that. And why not? Why didn't they say that?
I don't know the details, so I can't comment on it, but for the most part.
But why are you minimizing the flu deaths?
I'm not minimizing flu deaths. I'm just telling you that the deaths because of flu is not a number that is registered as a matter of fact like the COVID numbers are. They are guesstimates by the local health organizations such as CDC.
But again, to my point, I think that would skew more toward my favor in the argument that there are actually more deaths related to flu than less deaths. And by the way, in Tennessee, in 2019, we had 1,656 deaths from flu, same percentage as COVID.
Yeah. The big difference is that if it had been your kids, then you would have made a bigger deal out of it than you are now, apparently.
No, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't be keeping my kids home from school and shutting schools down because of the same death percentage rate of the flu. They've been going to school, they get their flu shots, but still the same percentage of people die.
The death rate is the same or lower because we're all sitting at home wearing masks and shut down the whole economy. if we had gone on the way we normally do with the flu, then we would have had 2 million deaths, as per your prediction.
I beg to differ, because back in the day, do you remember? I don't know if you guys did this in Holland, but I remember my kids being homeschooled. Whenever they came down with chicken pox, we had chicken pox parties. Okay. So we all got together with other homeschoolers who hadn't had the chicken pox, and we gave them the chicken pox.
Yeah, I don't.
Why?
I've never heard of that.
Why? It's a thing. We did it. It's been done. Measles, the same thing. Why? Because
Sounds primitive and cruel.
no, but why do you do that? Because your immune system as a kid is much stronger than as an older adult. Chicken pox is deadly in adults.
Right. Isn't it where you get the shingles from and all that?
Yeah, you give the kids chicken pox to make them immune to it. Okay? So what did we do? We told all the young people, all the healthy people, all the people that would be fine with COVID, having asymptomatic infections, we told them all, no, you need to stay home. You need to quarantine. You need not to be out. You don't need to get this. You don't want to spread it to other people because the other people might die, which may be true. However, those were the people that needed to get it to develop the immunity to stop it.
Yeah, this whole herd immunity is bogus, and
It's not bogus.
Disproven everywhere.
Okay, tell me where it's bogus, please. Please cite the fact.
There's
how
no
it's
herd
not.
immunity anywhere. Where have you seen herd immunity work when it relates?
I just
to
gave it to you.
Huh?
I just gave it to you. Chickenpox and other diseases.
I'm talking related to COVID-19. If you were to follow the approach of herd immunity, you would have your ICUs in all hospitals around the country overloaded, no more breathing apparatus, and people would.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna make a wager with you right now. Okay. It may be even months after the election, we're going to find this out, but maybe it'll be 2 to 3 years. But in some point in the future, we're going to find out that had we done everything the same and not shut down, we would be in the same place we're in right now. The statistics would be exactly the same.
I agree with you that is a possible outcome, but when you're in it, do you want to take that chance?
But here's why. It's like I told you several podcasts ago, which haven't been a while. By the way, people, we're doing a podcast. We haven't done one in a while. But I told you several episodes ago that, or maybe we didn't talk about it here, but we talked about it in a text. I said, you know what? At this point, I think we've all had it. I think we've all been exposed to it, and we've either gotten it or we haven't. But the infection rate is way higher than being reported. It's way higher.
I don't know why everybody and their uncle, including you, think that they are an expert in the field of COVID.
Because it's common sense. Science is about testing and theories and hypotheses, and science is not proof.
Right.
Science is about testing to see if something works or not.
Oh yeah, but that
When you
testing
say
gets done. That testing gets done by the people that have learned for it and are the educated ones, right? Not
But we're also
uneducated ones like us.
But how many Indians and Native Americans and primitive people have medicinal prescriptions and things that they weren't scientists, they didn't go to Harvard Medical School, but yet they had things that work. How many Indians, I'll use the word Indian now, Eastern medicine, some of the practical antidotes, herbal, and all of these things, they're not scientists, they're common sense people,
right,
that use their God-given talent and common sense to go, you know what, coconut oil really helps with this parasite, okay, and it works.
right.
So why can only Fauci and Birx and whatever his name is of the World Health Organization be the only ones to tell us what's right and wrong?
No, that is two different things. You're talking about things that work and have proven to work in the culture of the Indians or the Asian culture, and now you're relating that to, I suppose, you're relating it to like hydroxychloroquine or oleandrous or something like that. The stuff that.
I didn't say that, but I still don't think hydroxychloroquine. I think the media and the left has done everything they can to disparage that and poo-poo that and shut it down. But there are actually benefits to it. It helps with malaria. It may not, but here's the thing.
It helps with malaria, but this idea that it has been cuckooed by the left and whatever is nonsense, because it's been worldwide by anybody that has looked at it internationally, including the WHO and the European Health Organization and others. It has not been proven to have any benefit. Actually, it has proven to have some side effects with COVID, unlike with malaria, that make it to where it's not being prescribed as a treatment.
Well, but here's the thing: we don't have a treatment. We don't have a vaccine.
Right.
So why would you ever tell the wacko doctor in Texas that you told me was a crackpot when she said, I've treated my patients with hydrochloroquine and none of them have had any further symptoms of COVID? She didn't say she cured them. She said, I treated them and it's helped. Why would we frown upon that?
Because you're talking in that case about a test with 10 people. There's no placebo. There's no double-checked test done by a second doctor who has verified the results of this first doctor. You just have to believe somebody's betting blue on it. I don't think that's science. That is just cuckoo.
But if it works for malaria and it's worked with these 10 patients with COVID,
yeah,
why would you tell them don't do it? Why?
Because it was already proven that the side effects of hydroxychloroquine, it could affect the heart to where it had negative side effects great enough to say, let's not do this because it's a bad idea.
Well, back in the day, doctors put leeches on people to suck out
the
bad
yeah,
blood.
but we like to think that we have advanced a little bit, right?
Well, but we have. But my point is, we don't know the answer about COVID, but yet you have the so-called experts and the scientists saying it's one way: wear a mask, no hydrochloroquine, nothing. Don't do anything but accept what we say. And where is that guiding us?
So on October 25th, Trump announces the arrival of the vaccine. Are you going to have your kids take that vaccine?
I don't know.
Exactly. The same with hydroxychloroquine. I would rather not take it because it's not proven.
Well, but if Biden announced it, would you take it?
No. I would take it if it has been tested with 40,000 people with a placebo reviewed by the World Health Organization and probably a third health organization, and the results are proven to work in 90% of the cases. Then I would take it.
Okay, but in the meantime, if my doctor, and me and my doctor, and it's my patient privilege, if my doctor says, man, try some hydrochloroquine, and I take it and it helps, what's wrong with that? Why is the media out there saying this is all voodoo and bullshit and we can't say that,
Well, I mean,
we gotta shut down the tweets and the posts on Facebook because this is misinformation?
Well, yeah. I mean, I agree that whatever the media makes of it, let's peel all that away and forget about it.
Right.
But the point remains that whenever the president from the White House briefing room says that we should investigate, using disinfectant, that there's actually people who start to drink bleach. That's a problem. So we
talked about that, and he didn't say that, but Michael Babbitt
He did too say that if you ingest if you ingest disinfectant, we think that it might help, and we're gonna investigate that, right?
No,
As he turned to Dr. Burks.
Say it that way. We've already gone over this. He did not say it that way. And Michael, if you're out there listening, I know you took issue with me and my point about this, but I'm gonna stick to my point. President Trump did not say let's start experimenting with, let's get people in here and start putting Lysol down their throat.
And I didn't say that he said that. What I said is how he said it.
Okay.
Right?
And you know what? That's better. I would rather have a leader going and brainstorming out loud, going, you know what, man, the Lysol kills the germs on the surface. Why couldn't we look into that science? What is it about that Lysol that's killing those germs to see how it could help kill the germs inside our bodies? That was his message. Trump is never eloquent, but that's what he was trying to say. I would much rather have a leader saying that, at least offering some kind of, hey guys, let's brainstorm, let's get in the room and kick this around, rather than the so-called scientists saying, no, don't do that. Just go wear your mask, shut down your business, and shut up, and go home and quarantine.
I've mentioned that before as well. You float that idea, and I agree. If you're coming up with that idea as a leader, then you have a thinking out of the box approach, which is great. And then you bring that up behind closed doors when you're meeting with the scientists, and they go and investigate it, and then they come with their results. And if the results are encouraging and satisfactory, then you bring that out in the open.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. That's something he probably shouldn't have said in the open. But for Michael Battison or whoever to say, oh, he's telling people to drink Lysol, give me a break. That's not what he's saying.
I agree.
He is saying, let's investigate how this chemical destroys this virus on the surface. Why can't you scientists and medical people look into how that could possibly be used to treat it internally? That's all he was saying. He didn't say it eloquently, and he probably shouldn't have said it in public, because you're right. There are stupid people out there that are going to go do it.
Right. So that's the problem. I mean, I have his verbatim words here in front of me.
Okay, read them.
Okay, so it starts out by him saying a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposedly we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. Yeah. And I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way, to Brian, the reporter. And then I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting, right? And then the second part, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside, or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets in the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that.
Yeah.
So that you're going to have to use medical doctors. It sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful. That's what he said.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, except that it resulted in people drinking bleach. That's what it resulted in.
Well,
and if you're used to dealing with the media, then you're supposed to know that that's what your words will do, and thus you shouldn't utter them. That's the whole problem.
And when the media, all they report,
not the media, because it was broadcast live, uninterrupted, without anybody saying anything. Nobody was making any dubs. It was his words live on screen, and it resulted in people drinking bleach because they believe what Trump says, and they interpreted his words as, oh, this is a possible treatment. Let me try that too, because I'm freaking out over this virus.
Okay, and since we're rehashing this, I'm going to go back and rehash my counter analogy, which is when Obama and Eric Holder and Al Sharpton stand up and say, and then their media lapdogs repeat, and all they do is black person killed, black person killed, black person shot, black person harassed by police, black person, black person, black person. All they do is that, then that infuriates and incites violence and burning of cities and destroying businesses, much of which are in the black communities that needed help anyway. They shouldn't be destroyed. It's the same kind of stuff. Okay. So I get it. Leaders need to be and I don't disagree with you that Trump should have been spitballing in the press room there. He should have, taken that behind closed doors. But there again, the left and the media is, what are you doing? You're not doing anything to help this virus. You're not doing it. You've made it worse. You made it worse. You made it worse. And so the guys between,
that's also true.
well, but he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. So put yourself in his shoes. It's like, hey guys, we're thinking outside the box here. We're thinking of everything. But no, he says that. Now you're inciting people to drink Lysol. It's like, come on, man.
If you do such a thing on the podium of the briefing room of the White House and you have experts sitting around you that you obviously have not prepped for what you're about to say, then that's a problem.
Okay, but did the experts ever come out and say, well, no, we're never gonna inspect that or we're investigate that. That's horse shit. No, they didn't. Okay.
Right, because they're afraid for their job and their mortgage, or they choose to be complacent, to be complicit because you'd rather be in the room than not in the room. I think I don't know what the reason is that people, once they are in Trump's sphere, that all of a sudden it's like they drink the Kool-Aid. I have no idea.
You know what?
Because somebody should have said that this is something that they may test and investigate, but in the meantime, please people, refrain from doing anything like this because
they would have still done it.
An idea.
They would have still done it. You could sit up there and say, "Oh, come on, people."
So the main problem is that Trump opened his mouth, which is the problem most days of the year, but especially in this case.
Man,
you're comparing that to Obama and
Eric
Holder. Eric Holder. I don't know the exact circumstance that you're mentioning here.
Yeah, you do. The DC police officer or the Boston police officer that fired, and then Ferguson, Eric Holder was right in there, just stirring it up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have to refresh my memory, and I'm sure that there was political reason and media reason to do that, but for sure never as strong and out and specific as Trump uses it, because Trump uses the media in a way that nobody has ever used the media, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows it exactly.
I don't disagree with you on that. Okay, but the media, their whole purpose in life is to cause unrest in this country. Because
increase advertising dollars. Sure.
The more unrest they can cause and stir up the pot, the more coverage, the more viewers, eyeballs that they're going to get. So
I agree.
So hey, we agree. Here we are.
That's why it's so important to get your information from multiple sources and use your common sense and all of that stuff.
I thought you were going to say that's why it's so important to get your information from CNN.
And you can still come to different conclusions, even if you do that, like you and I. But we love each other anyway.
Exactly.
But we'll never get, under this COVID situation, we'll never get close to each other.
Well, that's your problem, because you could come into my house any day. I would welcome you with open arms, without a mask, and we would hug each other, and we would have a great time.
Hugging anybody I haven't done since February either.
That's sad, Hans. That's really sad.
Yep.
That's really sad.
Yep.
You need a hug. That's what you need right now. And I will give it to you, but you got to
a virtual hug.
You got to get out of that crazy ass, thing of yours of being afraid of COVID. So
I'm not afraid of COVID, but I have on day one chosen to, and we both have, to go the route of what the other one considers the most responsible thing. So whether I
applaud you for that, Hans. I really do.
But whether I think it's all nonsense and I would love to go to New York City and sit on Broadway and drink a beer out of a bottle, which is all true, but I don't, because I have a significant other who would rather I don't. So I don't.
And I truly, I say this sincerely, I really respect you for that. I really do. And I think you're a good man and a good husband for doing that. So, and there's no judgment from me on you about your choice to do that, because I think you're doing what's best, what you feel is best for you and Carla and your family and for the rest of society. And so I appreciate that and I respect that. I really do.
I hope I help you stay healthy so that you can do the irresponsible things you're doing.
Penetrating the United States.
I thought it was safe.
Your future has arrived.